A very good evening to all my dear students. I welcome you all for today's second session for Foreign Exchange Management Act. All of you CA intermediate students, a very, very good evening to all of you. Pranav, Nidhi, Hardik. Yes, Hardik, definitely we're going to take up the doubts also from the previous session. I hope you all have revised. Good evening, Bhumika, Mahi. Yes, absolutely correct, Mahi. Neeru, Nanda Goel, Balesh, all those who have sent beautiful good evening wishes, Manvi, all of you, welcome to the class, children. Tambeshwari, Anjali Kashyap. All right. So today we are going to proceed with the second leg of FEMA. I hope you all have revised whatever we have done in the previous lecture. We have broadly done all the definitions. We have discussed about the preamble of the Act, applicability, extent and application, and all the major definitions were covered. So as I open my PPT for the next topic, I want all of you to quickly answer me, who is a PRI? In the chat box, everyone has to answer me. Meanwhile, I'm going to read out Hardik's doubt. I have a doubt, like a tourist who comes to India for visit will be PRI or PRO, and ma'am will have to take the exemption of the period he's staying. Okay, I will answer you, Hardik, this question. But first of all, you have to tell me, let me see how well you have revised the topics. You have to tell me, who is a PRI? When do you become a person resident in India? So everyone is going to answer me about this. Meanwhile, I'll just open your PPT for the related topic. Okay, 11 answers, 12 answers in the chat box. Let me read all the answers. Who has lived in India for more than 182 days? Am I audible? I hope I'm audible now. Yes. Who have lived in India for more than 182 days in the previous year. That's correct. So 182 days in the previous year has to be seen. Riddhi is writing more than 180 days. Wrong, Riddhi. It has to be more than 182 days. Even if you have resided equivalent to 182 days, then also you become a PROI. Ankit Mishra is asking, what if I have left India 182 days? So we will answer that later on. That is related to PROI. First, you have to answer me back. Who is a PRI? So PRI is a person. We have to see the residential status of the previous year. That is previous year, 182 days he has resided in India. He turns out to be a person resident in India. Then the two limbs, that is A and B, which is given in the definition, tells us how the person becomes PROI. If the same person in this year, he's going abroad for business or vacation or employment purposes or any other purpose for an uncertain period. Uncertain period means, for example, Mr. A has resided in the previous year for more than 182 days. So yes, ma'am, he becomes a PRI. But this year in August or maybe in April or July, whichever month you want to take, any period, Hardik, you can take. There is no specification about the period that we have to decide. But yes, from that very date, if you're going out, suppose Mr. A got married to a Canadian person. The girl is from Canada and she's residing there only, and she decides to stay in Canada only after her marriage. So now it is very uncertain when is Mr. A going to come back. So that is going out for an uncertain period, because you understand business, you understand employment. Uncertain means you're not sure when you're going to come back. Then from that very date of 1st of August, you become a person resident outside India. You become a PROI. Is that clear, everyone? First limb A is clear. Okay. Then when do you become PRI again? If you have never come to India, excellent answer, Nanda Goel, Abhishek Mishra, all of you have given beautiful answers. If you are coming to India for this employment, business or uncertain period, then you become a PRI. Absolutely. Kasak Yadav, Tambeshwari, everyone. Tambeshwari is asking illustration too. Okay, Tambeshwari, we will do that as well. But all those who have written your basic understandings, I have read it. Good evening, Lahari Moruju. Give me the answer. I'm asking the definition of PRI. Anjali Kashyap, absolutely correct. Abhishek Agarwal, Riddhi, I hope you have corrected. It's not 180, it's 182 days. Apurv, correct, but you have to write the conditions also. A very happy Saraswati Puja, Ankit Mishra has written. Same to you, child. Thank you so much. All right, Mahi, correct. All those students who have written the answer, it's absolutely correct. I hope you have understood first limb, and the second limb is, yes, the tourist which is coming to India for these three purposes, Hardik, he will be a PRI. What assumption you're talking about is, suppose the tourist who has never come to India, a person who is coming to India for the very first time, he is not coming for employment. He is not coming for business. He is not coming for uncertain period. He is coming to stay with his parents and he'll be going back. So he remains PROI. We call this carry forward of the status of the previous year. Yes, Mahi, if he comes to India for these three purposes, then he is PRRI. Otherwise, the carry forward of the status means if you're outside India for the previous year, then you never come India, then you're PROI in previous year, now also you're PROI. And I think Ankit or somebody has raised the query. What about 182 days if he outside India? So what you have to see, child, whether you were in India for 182 days, then you more than 182 days, then you become PRI. You're not in India for more than 182 days, you become PROI. Simple. All right. So Nanda Goyal is asking if the person has come for other than these purposes, then his status is carry forward. Then you have to see what he was in the previous year. If in previous year he has stayed in India for more than 182 days, then he becomes PRII. But if he's coming for the first time in India, that means he was never in India or he was for less than 182 days, then he becomes PROI. All right, Nanda Goyal, then the carry forward status means generally he will be a PROI in this very case, the example that you have written in the chat box. Everyone is clear and everyone is fresh with the revision of the definition of person resident in India. I thought you will be answering it, but you have taken my 10 minutes to explain you and make you revise again. So fine, but we have huge chapter which is left to be done. And I want to complete it with the same speed and enthusiasm because today it's our last lecture. We are going to wind up the session and we're going to complete all the question and answers also. So let's hurry up and turn again. Flip the pages. I hope no other doubts because you have revised all these things also. Illustration 2, once I open the study material, please remind me. Somebody has the Meshwari, just remind me later. Okay. All right. Section 3, we have done dealing in foreign exchange. I hope no doubt in that. Authorized person. Who is an authorized person? Chat box, revision. Who is an authorized person? He says you can deal in the foreign exchange only through an authorized person. So section 3 tells us this thing, but the definition of foreign authorized person is given under section 2. That is, he's a money changer, offshore banking unit, authorized dealer. Only through that person you can receive or send the payment abroad. Only 4-5 chat box answers we have got. Good. Now it's 12. Yes, it's increasing. Everyone has given the correct answer. Good. All right. So now section 4, what did section 4 tells us? That any regulation and management of foreign exchange, SEBI and RBI has the power to give you general permissions. So we have started with the first schedule also. There are 3 specific schedules but for the current account transactions. Also another revision question for my class is, what is a current account transaction and what is a capital account transaction? Very good. All those who have given the answer for authorized person. Excellent. I'm so happy to see your response, children. That means, as always, like sincere students, you have been revising your work. So the only thumb rule for clearing CA is keep studying, keep revising, stay focused. Very, very important. Children, as far as possible, stay away from this mobiles. I know you are studying through mobiles, you're studying through laptops. Distractions will be coming. A message pops up and you get distracted and you go and start checking your WhatsApp, you start checking your Facebooks, Instagram. That is also important part of life when it comes to recreation facilities. But you have to be very, very focused when you're preparing for your CA exams, whether you are a foundation student. Yes, you have cleared that foundation leg. Now you're an intermediate student. The same serious level as required for CA final is required for the CA inter student also. So always remember that we have to stay focused. You always should have a daily timetable plan for yourself. You should know when you get up in the morning that what I am going to study today. It's not just about law, it's not just about accounts, it's about all the subjects. If you're giving group one, income tax, accounts, law, all the three subjects, I'm going to touch base these topics today. I'm going to sit and revise this things today. Whatever my teachers have done in the previous session, I am going to open my books and read those chapters. That has to be there in your timetable every day. And try to take out time for yourself also, your physical activities, your meditation, your mental peace. That is also important, but mobile is not for that. Don't try to replace your free time, which you should give to yourself, with your mobile, because it is again draining out energy from you. So preserve that energy. Why it is essential for you all students? Because when we were doing CA, we did not have mobile. So I still feel very, very thankful that distractions were still there. We had friends who used to call us, we used to go out and play and other things, but still we tried to remain focused. But for today's generation, I believe the focus is very, very important. You know, at times we are just flipping through the pages and we come across different courses only. What you can do if you're not doing CA. And a child who is just studying with a full focused mind preparing for the exams will start thinking the other way around. So never, never let the negative energies float in your life, and always stay motivated and fixed to your topics, to your subject. Love your books, as I always tell my students. The books love you back when you give them lots and lots of respect. You love them, they will also give you love. How they're going to love you back? By giving you good marks. All right. So I hope this was a much needed motivation for all my dear students. Still some are writing, ma'am, how to deal with procrastination. So how you deal with, you prepare your timetable every day. Try sticking it on the walls. Try repeating it again and again. Even if you have not followed it, tear it out, make again. Repetition, resilience is very, very important. So if you keep on trying things, the things will come on track as well. All right. Yes, Abhishek Agarwal, that's really, really important, because if you stay motivated, then only you can perform well also. All right. All right. Thank you so much, students. And this motivation is absolutely and actually meant for you only. Yes, Manvi, we're going to do all the points of schedule also. And I'm just checking out the answers that you have written for the current account and capital account transactions. Everyone has given Vismitha V. Very nice. All of you have given the correct answers. So I'm going to explain you these current and capital account transactions also. All right. Let's go again. Capital account transactions, yes, those which alter the assets and liabilities. But today we'll be discussing in detail how the capital account transactions actually take place, which are the permissible, which are the prohibited. All those will be discussed. So we were on section 4. Section 4 says that no person can hold, acquire, or own any foreign security or any other things unless you have done situated outside India, unless you are doing it as per the provisions of this act. As far as you're following the provisions of this act, then you can do this kind of things, holding of the immovable property. So very well, my students have answered. This is totally related to your capital account transactions, where you're acquiring the foreign security or you're using the foreign exchange. For example, if I've purchased a house in Dubai, that means I have acquired an asset abroad. So I have done a capital account transaction abroad. So I can do that only with respect to the provisions of FEMA Act. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to do any such kind of transactions where foreign exchange is involved. All right. And then this is your current account transactions. Current account transactions means the person can draw or sell the foreign exchange. What is the meaning of drawing or sell the foreign exchange? You want to go to abroad. You want to fly to Singapore. You will need Singapore dollars. So that means you need to draw the foreign exchange from the bank. So you go to the bank, you give them rupees, you draw foreign exchange. You have taken $100, you spend $90. You come back with the $10, you go back and sell the foreign exchange to the authorized dealer and they will give you the money back. So this is the meaning of sell and drawing the foreign exchange. After that, we said that current account transaction rules are given, but examples of current account transactions are importing the machinery for installation of factory from UK vendor by payment in cash. So if you have purchased a machinery abroad, I told you, if you have purchased abroad, it is a capital account transaction. But if you have bought the machinery home back, it has been imported, then it is a current account transaction, because in the current account transaction, you have to see the ordinary course of business. If you're doing it and if you're bringing the assets home back, then it is a current account transaction. If you have created a liability on credit, you have purchased, you have created a liability outside India, but short-term banking and credit facilities. So we assumed if it is for 2 months, 3 months, so there is no definition given for short-term banking. Again, you have to write an assumption that for 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, we are assuming it is a short-term banking or credit facilities in the ordinary course of business, then hence it's a current account transaction. Clear, everyone? All right. After that, we discussed in detail about the gifts also. If a PRI is giving a gift to PROI in Indian currency, that means an Indian asset has been altered, creation of asset and liability is taking place. Either a PRI is getting an asset, either a PROI is getting an asset in India, any of them are getting, it will make you a creation of asset and liability. So these kind of transactions are known as capital account transactions. The general rule is current account transactions are freely permissible unless it is prohibited, and capital account transactions are prohibited unless they are permitted. So we don't have to go into this kind of confusion. What we have to learn is there are certain restrictions and schedules that has been made by law. So how you're going to learn this chapter? First, preamble, extent and applicability. Section 2, definitions. Section 3, I discussed with you. Section 4, current account, capital account transactions, differentiation. And then one small paragraph of the gifting topic that we just revised. After that, we have 3 schedules of Schedule 1, 2, and 3 for current account transactions. Then we have 3 schedules for capital account transactions. And then some major points in between, which are given as paragraphs, where RBI and CG, what are they kind to control your debt instruments and non-debt instruments? That is something which we're going to discuss. So the chapter preview should be very, very clear in your mind. So now out of the 3 schedules of current account transactions, we are going to revise the first schedule and then we will start with the second schedule. So what did I tell you? We're going to revise this. I'm not going to teach you. So I'm going to ask you questions out of this. So schedule 1, we did the drawal of foreign exchanges allowed or prohibited. The first question. All these transactions, can we use the foreign exchange for the transactions written in front of you on the screen, or we need a permission? Is it prohibited or allowed? No permission required, ma'am, because they are strictly prohibited. You will not get any foreign exchange for these respective kind of transactions. Let me see the students at the portal also if they're giving the correct answers. Yes, Nancy Hingu, correct. Good answer. Other than the capital, yes, absolutely correct. You remember that definition that you have to write other than capital account transactions, and it includes these basic things. That is very, very important. Good, Nancy. All right. So how many of you have given the correct answers over here? Yes, ma'am, it is prohibited. We all remember this thing. So what is the meaning of prohibition? Can a person who has won the lottery winnings in India, can he take that money or dollars outside India? No, ma'am, it is prohibited. Any winning from horse racing or any other hobby, if you have won these kind of things, can you take the foreign exchange, or can you withdraw the foreign exchange? Can you ask for the dollars from the authorized dealer because you want to purchase the banned magazines, or you want to do the gambling in football pools or the sweepstakes? These are all online gamblings. Football pools means where you're investing money, and like for the cricket, we have a betting thing. So you're betting who is going to win and who is going to lose for the football matches. So all these things are strictly prohibited. First 3 things clear. Then 4th and 6th point I told you is related to your commission on exports. So if I am sending the exports to my own wholly owned subsidiary or a joint venture where I'm sending the goods as an equity investment. So how can I invest money? Either I can send cash or I can send the goods as the capital investment. So instead of cash, I thought I'm going to invest by sending the goods. Now, somebody is selling the goods on my behalf over there. So generally, we pay such commission to the agents. But since it is my own wholly own subsidiaries, my own joint ventures, why do you need to pay commissions on such exports? So law says it is prohibited. You cannot pay commission on such kind of exports. Another one, what was rupee state credit route, where you are importing and exporting the goods and the payment that you're getting is in rupees only. So if I have imported goods, I have paid in rupees to Russia, and when I export the goods, they also pay me back in cash, that is in rupees. Then there is no need of paying commission in dollars to them when you're using your rupees state credit. But what was the exception? When can we pay the commission? When we are doing the rupees state credit route. This is the MCQ that they're going to ask. Ma'am, remittance means giving money, sending money. Very good. Excellent, Hardik. Tambeshwari, very good. In case of tea and tobacco, 10% of the invoice value of export. So whenever I told you we are a hub of tea and tobacco, so if we are going to export these products, then up to 10%. Suppose 1 lakh rupees was the bill when I exported tea and tobacco. So 10% of 1 lakh, 1,000 rupees up till the commission I can pay on the export of tea and tobacco. That is allowed. So examiner will ask you these kind of points. You have to learn all this. That's why I gave you a big lecture of motivation, because you have to remember that we have to open up our books and we have to sit and we have to learn. So again and again, when you keep revising, it gets fit in over here. So don't worry about that. When we're reading it for the first time, we do feel, oh, ye kya tha? We just understood, ma'am said commission on exports is not allowed. Now exception has popped up. So when you'll revise again, then you'll always remember. See how beautifully Nanda Goel, Ankit Mishra, all these students have answered me, ma'am, tea tobacco 10% voice value commission is exempted, means it is allowed. It is not prohibited, it is allowed. And can we make the payment for callback services? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Can we get the dollars for callback services? No, ma'am, absolutely, because it is a prohibited transaction. How will you write in the exam? Because it is a prohibited transaction under Schedule 1 of Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transaction Rules 2000. All right. Now, if there is a non-resident who has come and is studying in India, he has opened up non-resident special rupee scheme account. Now, when he is going back home after 2 years, he wants to take the interest on savings on the funds that he has kept. So do you think the RBI should allow it, or he is not allowed to take this money? No interest on repatriation is allowed. Absolutely correct. Why it is not allowed? Because you have opened up SPE scheme account, non-resident special rupee scheme. So you have to look for these words. He will be writing these words. Okay, these words will be written there in the question. So no interest income is allowed on these kind of funds. Clear? All right. Now let's start with Schedule 2. Schedule 2 is going to talk about the cases where RBI's approval is required. There are certain transactions. Okay, in case of dividend balancing, I forgot dividend balancing. Thank you, Anil Army, for reminding me. So the cases where dividend balancing is applicable, there also you cannot remit the dividend. So if you are paying the dividend, you have opened up a subsidiary outside India, and they have further more subsidiaries also. So it says you are going to export the goods, and they said that instead of paying cash to you, we will give you the dividend in exchange of the money that you have invested in us. So this balancing of dividend is wherever it is applicable, there you cannot pay the dividend. It is prohibited. So now dividend balancing concept is almost not applicable also. That's why this is anyways not allowed. Yes, setting off transactions, absolutely correct. It's not allowed. So these are the cases, transactions where RBI approval is required. But basically, Schedule 2 talks about the cases where central government approval is required. So it should not be RBI. It is basically central government's approval. So different departments of the central government where approval is required. So CG's approval cases are over here in Schedule 2. All right, the Ministry and Department of Government whose approval is required. Now, how do we have to learn this? We have to learn it with the help of charts. We will be understanding also, and at home we are going to make our own flow charts and summaries also, so that everything is conceptually clear to us. So what are the cases where central government approvals is required? Ma'am, what is written over here? Yes, yes, Government of India approval is required, Mahi. Absolutely correct. These are the departments which you have to learn what department's approval is required. So, examiner will be asking you in case you're going for the cultural tools. Do you need any approval? So, you'll say in the exam, 2 marks question will come. You will say, yes, cultural tools fall under Schedule 2 of Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transaction Rules, where central government's prior approval is required. Point number 2, Ministry of Human Resource Department or the Department of Education and Culture's approval will be required for the cultural tools. Even if you don't remember the concerned department, even if you write the concerned government department's approval is required, then also you'll get marks. But we have very, very simple things. We'll try to learn it today itself so that you can write down in a better way in the exam. So, what is the meaning of cultural tools? Say, for example, Kapil Sharma is going to hold out the shows in Dubai. Now he's going to get dollars in India. He's investing. He's showing his talent, or any other celebrities who are going and holding out different tours, or your college is sponsoring some activities abroad. You're going to do performance shows, and people will be you'll be collecting money through tickets over there. So you're going to bring in dollars over here. So law says if you're doing such kind of cultural tours, yes, Abhishek Mishra says that it was asked in MCQ for 2 marks. So yes, very true, Abhishek Mishra. So when these kind of questions come, it is better you answer these name of the departments. These are the only kind of questions which can come from this chapter, and MCQs. 100% one MCQ comes from this chapter, FEMA. And also, they were even in this exam that you have given in Jan, people who have given, there were 3 questions from FEMA, one MCQ and 2 descriptive questions have come. So around 12 marks questions do come from this chapter. So we have to do it very nicely. So if you're doing such kind of cultural tools, then whose department? Ministry of Human Resource. Who are human resource? Human resources means HRD department. You will learn human because human is involved, therefore human resources. So Department of Education and Culture, even if you don't remember, then also it's fine. But cultural tools hai, to culture word dobara aa raha hai. Department of Education and Culture when we talk about HRD department. Ministry of HRD department's approval is required when you're going for the cultural tours. Is that clear? Now, point number 2 in itself has too many points. Now, if you want to do any advertisement in foreign print media, what is the meaning of this line? So you want to advertise something, you want to have your ads in USA newspaper. Print media means in some printed magazines or newspaper, you want your ad. For the purpose other than promotion for tourism. Now, this is other than, listen carefully, okay? Promotion for tourism, foreign investments. You are encouraging people to invest in your country, send them foreign investments. International bidding that you're doing. Now, if you are doing the advertisements for these respective things, that is for promotion of tourism or foreign investment or international bidding, no approval is required. Do it freely. You are promoting our tourism, आप India को promote कर रहे हो different countries में जाके, please do it. You can spend money for that. No approval of any department is required. So where is the approval required other than these? Examiner will ask you if Mr. Ray is going to spend money for the USA newspaper, foreign print media for promotion of tourism. Which department's approval is required? You tell. Do we need the approval for any department for tourism? For any kind of magazines, no approval is required. Very good, Pranav. And V. Smita, Manvi, very good. That means you're paying attention. Good, good, good. Neeru, Nanda, Abhishek Agarwal. Very good. No need of approval. Understood? So these 3 things you will mark with pen that no approval is required. First note is this. Second thing is exceeding US dollars 10,000. So approval is needed only when you are exceeding 10,000 US dollars. So that means anything, even for the foreign print media, which is below 10,000 USD dollar, do you need the approval? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Tell me. Anything which is below 10,000 USD dollar, no approval. So promotion of tourism, foreign investments, no approval. If you are spending for the foreign print media less than 10,000 USD dollar, no approval is required. Now, where the approval is required? For the foreign print media. Okay, let me make this also a separate point. For the foreign print media means newspaper or magazines, if you're doing, then only the ES approval is required. Then also if it is more than 10,000 US dollars. Clear? This much clear? Now, if I'm making audio advertisements or video advertisements, no approval is required because it specifically says print media. Audio video ads, no approval is required. By a state government and PSU. So if a state government is doing this foreign advertisements or a PSU is doing this, then yes, approval is required. So if I ask you, this ad is by Reliance or any other private company, or CG is doing it, central government is doing these kind of ads in foreign, do we need the approval? Then do we need the approval? No, ma'am, then no approval is required. Intelligent students in my class, my God, they have understood such a tricky point in minutes. So this is the summary of point number 2. Any advertisement you're doing it, if it is in the print media, if you're spending more than 10,000 USD dollars, and you are a person who is, you're doing it in the print media. Let me take a separate pen. You're doing it in the print media and you're doing it for more than 10,000 USD dollar, and it is for any other purpose other than this, and it is by a PSU or state government, then yes, the approval of Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs. Even if you write Ministry of Finance, then also you get marks. But finance is related to economic affairs. You have recently had the budget. So finance is related to Department of Economic Affairs because they are managing the economy. So HRD is related to Department of Education and Culture. There we have, remember, cultural tools, education and culture. HRD department. Advertisement, Ministry of Finance. As state government is involved, PSU is involved, so Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs. Everyone clear about this point? Finding it simple? Good. Now, third point. Remittance of freight of vessel in chartered by PSU. So again, a state government or PSU is paying any freight, any charges to this vessel which is chartered. So public sector unit is there. He is importing certain goods. Vessel means a ship. What is the meaning of vessel? Vessel means a ship. So 3-4 points are related to the shipping industry only. Okay. So whenever, yes, Hardik, private company, no approval is required. Yes, Nanda Goel, for tourism, even though it exceeds 10,000, no approval is required. Okay. Because it specifically says other than promotion of tourism, foreign investment, international trading. So if this is the case, no approval is needed. By a state government and PSU, then the approval is needed. Exceeding 10,000 US dollars, then the approval is required. And foreign print media, then the approval is needed. All right. Yes, Tambeshwari, correct. If you are remitting the freight means you're making the payment of the freight. Freight is the charges that you pay when the goods are coming by the ship. Then Ministry of Surface Transport. How do you learn it? M for ministry, O for off, S for surface, T for transport. So we call it as an abbreviation for learning is chattering wing. You can remember even if you can leave it, but most is the Ministry of Surface Transport. Again, for the fourth one also, Ministry of Surface Transport. So 2 things for the shipping is Ministry of Surface Transport, MOST, you will remember, Ministry of Surface Transport. What does it say? If the freight is being paid, the ship is getting chartered by a PSU, then you will take the approval. Or when you're importing the goods, now importing the goods means goods are coming, I have to make the payment. Goods are coming by the ocean transport by a government department on CIF basis. What is the meaning of CIF basis? Cost, insurance, and freight. So I am importing the goods and I am doing it on CIF basis, means I have to pay the cost also, I have to pay the insurance also, I have to pay the freight also. And I'm a government department. So if a private company is doing, do we need the approval? Tell me. Are they writing a private company? They're not writing. So private company Reliance is doing, no approval needed. Any government department or a PSU is paying for the import of the goods, which is coming through ocean transport. Okay, when it is coming through ocean, through Indian Ocean, the goods are coming and you're a government department. You are paying for the cost, insurance and freight. Whose approval you will take? Whose approval you will take? MOST, that is Ministry of Surface Transport. Okay. Abhishek Agarwal, they're calling it for the a specific department, like we have for the Department of Education and Culture. So chattering wing. So wing is the department for the MOST. All right, even if you write Ministry of Surface Transport, then also it's fine. Chattering wing, you'll definitely remember it there, but when you'll be learning it, you will definitely try to avoid learning this. Yes, now other than FOB and FAS, FOB means free on board. Free on board means I'm sending it, I'm not going to pay the freight. And FAS, free alongside the sea. So FOB and FOS basis, no approval needed. Private company, no approval needed. Please write down these brief points. Private company doing it, no approval needed. If you are paying the freight for the goods coming on FOB basis, no approval needed. FAS basis, no approval needed. So when is the approval needed? When it is by the government department. If it is a private company, which department? Riddhi, in case of a private company, they're not asking you for the approvals. So don't worry. Let them do it freely. Okay. So if it is CIF basis, if it is a government department or a PSU, and they are paying for the ocean transport is again written. I don't know how they're going to travel without ocean transport. That is the only sea area. Again, without any other sea area, they want to cover it. Okay. So if it is not an ocean, it is another sea, then you tell them that no approval is needed because it is specifically through the ocean transport if the goods are coming. Through Indian Ocean or any other ocean if the goods are coming, then you have to take the approval for, but they'll not confuse you this much. Trust me. They will simply ask you either a private company point will be written or a PSU point or CIF and FOB. So FOB, no approval, FAS, no approval, CIF is government department and PSU, if they are paying the freight, yes, approval is needed. For both the cases, remittance of freight, if you're paying by PSU, most. Import of the goods, government department is paying on CIF basis, most. Free alongside C, Hardik, FAS. All right. Another one. Let us complete this most wala pehle. Another department, most department, Director General of Shipping. Their chattering wing was telling you, here Director General of Shipping is involved. Remittance of container detention charges exceeding the rate prescribed by the Director General of Shipping. Now, this is the shipping industry and they have their head who is the Director General of Shipping. He is the head of the department, Director General of Shipping. Now, what is the meaning of detention charges? Now, my ship is standing at your port until the goods will come, then ship will take these goods and will come back to the other port. Now, till the ship is standing over there, certain detention charges are taken from that ship owners. So if you are paying for those container detention, container means उस ship को कह रहा है container detention charges, वहां खड़े होने के पैसे जो देने पड़ेंगे. When your ship is standing over there, your container which has to be loaded, if the ship is standing over there, then if you have to pay the money for that, those detention charges, if you are paying as per the Director General rate, say for example, 10% is the rate, no approval is needed. But if you are exceeding this 10% of the rate or whatever the rate has been there, they have not told you the rate. Whatever the rate which has been fixed by Director General of Shipping, if you are exceeding that rate, then whose approval is required? Whose approval is required? DGS, Director General of Shipping, will have to approve it. Is that clear? So if I ask you, you have a ship, the container detention charges, if you are paying, do you need the approval? You have to give me the condition. If you are remitting you're paying the dollars for the container detention charges, do you need the approval? Yes, ma'am, we will need the approval. Pratimilani, okay, I'll explain you. Only if the rate exceeds. Excellent, very good. Those who have written this line, only if the rate prescribed by Director General of Shipping will exceed. Rathimilani, please pay attention. Detention charges means when the ship is standing at the port, for that standing, you have to pay the standing charges. That is detention charges. You have been detained for a certain period and for you have taken this space, you know, the other ships are also coming. So if they have allowed you, they have given you the permission to stand over there. So for this, you have to pay certain charges to the authority. If the rate which has been prescribed by the DGS, if you are paying within that rate, then no approval is needed. But if you are paying more than the rate prescribed, then you need the approval of DGS, that is Director General of Shipping. All right. And everyone has given the correct answer. Beautiful. Very good. You're doing it for the first time. So it's absolutely normal to get confused, to think what is happening. Oh my God. Kitna kuch hai. It's a very normal feeling. Okay. So don't worry. Your understanding, that is important. So keep on understanding. When we revise it, you'll be able to learn it in a better way. All right. Now let's do this more point about shipping, that is multimodal transport operators making remittance to their agents abroad. Now, what is multimodal transport? Multimodal means when the goods are coming either by ship. First, they come by ship. Then they have come to Bombay. Now they have moved from Bombay to Delhi. They will go by air you're using. And then they will be going by bus to another place and then auto rickshaw. So multimodal transport, different kind of transport models you are using. For that, you have to pay to your commission to the agents abroad. Again, if you're sending the goods from here to Singapore, from Singapore, they're going to fly to Malaysia. From Malaysia, they'll be taking a bus and they will be going to another cities nearby. So you're using multimodal transport and your agents are going to sell these goods abroad. So for this multimodal transport operators, for the payments that you have to make to these agents, you need the registration certificate. Here you need the RC. No approval is required. You need the RC. Registration certificate is the RC from the DGS, from the Director General of Shipping. So what are they going to ask you? If you're using more than one mode of transport, if you're having a multimodal transport operators, can you pay the remittance to the agents abroad? Yes, ma'am, we can make the payment to the agents abroad. The only thing required is registration certificate from the Director General of Shipping. Is that clear? So whose approval is required if I am a PR, I am going for the cultural tours in USA? Whose approval is required? HRD. Excellent. If I am giving a foreign print media advertisement, I'm a government sector unit and it is exceeding 10,000 USD dollars. Whose approval is required? Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs. Very good. Yes, Ministry of Finance is also fine. Good. Okay, MOF you have learned. Ministry of Finance. Nice. Economic Affairs. Very good. Very good. All right. If I am having my ship which is standing at someone's port, I need to pay the detention charges and the rate prescribed by DGS was 10%, but I am paying for 11%. Do I need anyone's approval? Most DGS. Very good. I'm using multimodal transport. What do I need to have for paying the remittance to the agents abroad? I need the RC, registration certificate from the Director General of Shipping. I am importing my goods through ocean transport on FOB basis. Whose approval is required? No one's. Very good. Very good. Intelligent students. Abhishek Agarwal said most. No, only for CIF basis you need. Riddhi, only for CIF basis you need. So on FOB basis and FAS basis, you don't need anyone's approval. Okay, read it again. Other than. Okay, one more I'm going to do it. Remittance of prize money, sponsorship of sports activities abroad. Now, what are you going to pay? You are a very nice company. You're going to sponsor the sports activity abroad. Who are you? You are Alliance. It says by a person other than international, national, state level bodies if the amount involved exceeds 1 lakh USD dollar. So if you are a private company and you're holding any sports prize money sponsorship you're doing abroad, okay, leave the private company for a while. If you're remitting any prize money or a sponsorship of sports activity, so you have decided to hold a football match in abroad and you're going to pay for the sports activity abroad. Okay. Other than international, national and state level sports body. So if you are an international body, no approval needed. If you are a state level body, now you people know better than me, okay? If you're holding a cricket match and you're a state level body holding cricket match abroad and doing sports activity, no approval is needed. If you're a national body, no approval is needed. Then where is the approval needed? If you are at a district level from a town, you want to hold the sports activity outside abroad, yes, the approval is needed only if the sports and prize money exceeds 1 lakh USD dollar. So anyone in this world paying abroad money for the prize money or sponsorship or sports activity less than 1 lakh USD dollar, no one's approval is needed. But if you're a district body and you're paying the money and it is more than 1 lakh USD dollar, then yes, you will need the approval of same department as for the cultural affairs, that is Ministry of HRD, Human Resource Department. There it was education and culture. Here it is youth affairs and sports. So even if you'll remember Ministry of HRD, so we have two places for cultural tours and for sports activity, you need the Ministry of HRD, that is Human Resource Department. Okay. HRD is also sufficient if you learn this much. Again, two limits we had in this topic. One is for the second topic where you're exceeding for the advertisements more than 10,000 USD dollars, and for the prize money more than 1 lakh US dollars. All right, let's take a small break over here. Let me check out why this noise is coming from behind. Let's take a small break and then we will continue. Please read all these points till then. Yes. State level. So the Meshwari, if it is national, international, and state level, no approval is needed. And if it is any other body apart from that, it is more than 1 lakh USD dollars, then yes, approval is needed. Multimodal transport operator remittance of commission is allowed if yes, Hardik, absolutely correct. Only if you have the RC, that is registration certificate, then only it is allowed. Otherwise, it is not allowed. You cannot pay the commission if you don't have the registration certificate. All right, just read these points, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Let's take a small break here. Right. Welcome back, students. Let's proceed. Yes, Hardik, you can ask your doubts. You can raise your hands. Even now, if you want to raise your hand, you can ask your doubt. Nanda Goyal is asking promotion of tourism. So, in that specific point, for the second point, anything that you're paying for the tourism, international bidding, foreign investment, then no approval is needed. So, where you're specifically asking by the PSU state government for the foreign print media, other than those three activities, then the approval is needed. Clear? The Meshwari Chartering Wing is particular department of the most, that is Ministry of Surface Transport Department. In the next few points, Director General Shipping involved is there. Here you're just taking the respective chartering wing departments approval. Okay, no limit for state, national, international, it is correct. Yes, Riddhi, if you're a state body, national, international body, like FIFA is a renowned body, if they are spending certain remittance of prize money or sports activity, then no approval is needed. But if you're not those bodies, then approval is needed only if you're exceeding the limit, that is 1 lakh US dollars. Tourist point, I hope you're clear. Now, Hardik, yes, you want to ask something? Yes, please speak.
Ma'am, like I am a tourist, I am coming from another country to India, not for those particular three purposes. Then, ma'am, I will be said to be PROI, person resident outside India. So, ma'am, then also, even if I satisfy 182-day condition, then also, ma'am, I would be stated as a PROI, now.
Are you asking for this schedule 2 point, or you're asking for the definition of PRI and PR?
No, ma'am, for tourist
Okay.
out.
Okay. Yes, come again. You have never come to India and you're coming for the very first time.
Very first time, and like I am coming for India for the very first time and not for those three specified purposes. So, ma'am, then also 182 days condition, even if I fulfill, then also, ma'am, I would be PROI, na?
Okay. Very valid point. So you are not staying in India in the previous year. So you're coming for the first time. So
Yes,
in the for seeing the previous year structure, you are PROI. Now for the current year, even if you have stayed more than 182 days, then Hardik, next year you will be a PRI, but for this year you continue to be a PR.
but ma'am, for the next year also, like if I am staying for more than 182 days, but I am not indulging those three for those three
It's okay.
conditions
Then you have fallen under the criteria of previous year, right?
for
We did
182.
this
Yeah,
example.
okay.
Remember, I did this example with you.
Yes.
Mine example was when I was going out.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
if for the current year you are staying for 182 days, in the next year definitely you will become a PRI on the basis of this respective status of
Yes,
182.
yes, ma'am. Now clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anybody else wants to ask and speak their doubts? You can. Yes, Anil.
Ma'am,
Yes.
today is your last class, right?
Yeah.
But such a friendly teacher have. We are very proud of you, ma'am. Like in my life, I didn't find any teacher who teaches in this way. So
Thank you so much, Anil. Even I'm equally proud to have beautiful students like you.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, when will next batch starts?
You will get this information from the institute itself, from the admin.
Ma'am, I got a mail, but will you participate in the next sessions? I mean, next batch.
You'll definitely get to know about this soon. Don't
Okay,
worry.
ma'am. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Anil. All right. Okay, students, now let's proceed ahead. So multimodal transport also we have done. Now we are going to cover a very interesting point of remittance of hiring charges of transponders. Now, who are these transponders? So you have been watching TV channels sitting over here and something which is happening in abroad. So what do you call that? National Geographical channels or Discovery channels. So you will say, ma'am, right now you're telling us don't watch. Now you are taking us back to the TV channels. Yes, because I still know that you have been watching this since childhood days. Also, we have been watching Discovery channels and we enjoy watching those animals coming over here. How are they taking place? How is and where is this shooting taking place? So there are certain transponders whom we have hired in abroad who are doing these shootings over there and they are telecasting it over here on our TV channels. So whatever hiring charges we are paying to these transponders, so if TV channels are hiring and providing this on TVs, then you need the communication, information and broadcasting's approval. If the internet service providers are providing something to you, which they are taking, capturing in abroad, and we have transponders over there, then you need the approval of Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. IT से related है, internet services and IT, information technology and communication will come into picture. TV channels relation with broadcasting, information and broadcasting ministry department has to approve those payments which you are paying. So remittance of hiring charges of transponders, they're going to use the same kind of vocabulary. They will not be changing these words. The only thing that you have to remember is that information and broadcasting, if it is TV channels, and information technology and communication if it is internet service providers. All right, clear? Okay. And again, this detention charges we have done, prize money and sponsorship of sports activity. If it is more than 1 lakh USD, then Ministry of HRD department, you need the approval. But if it is international, national and state level bodies, then no approval is required and there is no limit for them. Similarly, if it is tourism and international bidding, foreign investment, no limit for them. Other than that, any other activities, foreign print media by state government PSUs exceeding 10,000 USD, approval is required. Whose approval is required? Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs. Now, the last point of Schedule 2, remittance of membership of P&I club. Here you are making the payment for the indemnity. Say, for example, for the insurance that you're paying. All right, this is the insurance payment of membership of P&I club is protection and indemnity club. Here you are making certain payments, a kind of insurance that you're paying for your ship, that you're for the vessels. For the ship, you're paying the insurance money. So again, he will be writing the membership paid for the P&I club. Do you need any approval? Yes, Insurance Division, Ministry of Finance. So two places you have learned, Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs, when foreign print media is involved, and where you're paying the memberships for P&I club. What is this P&I club? So certain ship industries, they have this pool of insurance money is collected. And as and when there is a need, somebody needs it, they take the money out of this club and they give it to you. Say, for example, where you go with your friends and you have certain committee and pool of, say, for example, you're sitting in a college canteen and you decided to contribute 10 rupees for each month. And now we have a pool of 100 rupees. So as and when we feel like doing a party or having a samosa or pakoda in the canteen, we will be taking out the money from that pool and we'll mutually spend among each other. So a club you have formed. Similarly, P&I Protection and Indemnity Club, where you have taken the membership for the protection of your ship through which you are sailing the goods here and there. So there, if you're making the payment for this membership, Ministry of Finance, Insurance Division. Now you need dollars to make the payment for this membership fees. Then Ministry of Finance, Insurance Division Department's approval is needed. Okay. All right. So Schedule 2 is also over. We have learned the cases where central government approval is required. We have learned 8 cases where prohibited, no approval, nothing can be done. It is not allowed. Now we are going to do very, very interesting schedule, Schedule 3, that is the transactions where RBI's approval is required. Who is RBI? Reserve Bank of India. He is going to tell you whether you can take the money for these kind of purposes or not. RBI's approval is needed for these kind of activities. Now, again, it might sound too much for you, but it is very, very simple. Even without looking to the slide, you tell me that whenever your parents or you have ever been to abroad, did you ever go to RBI, say, for example, for these $100 example that I just told you? When I go to RBI, I simply told you, you go to the authorized dealer and you get the money. Then, ma'am, why are we doing this chapter? Why it is so huge? We never went to RBI for withdrawing foreign exchange. You must have seen, your parents must have traveled abroad. Have you ever heard that you went to RBI's approval that they have taken? Why? Because there is a liberalized scheme. Law has allowed the individuals to avail the facility of foreign exchange up till the limit of $250,000. He says you're going to a private visit, you're going abroad, So many people nowadays, make my trip coming up with so many packages. You go to Thailand, Bangkok, Singapore, not during your CA days, but yes, after your exams are over, you have become a chartered accountant. You must go, and once you start earning, having a good amount of package, you must start exploring world also. That is also important. So then you will come to know, then you have already studied in the FEMA, that up till the limit of 2,50,000 USD dollars. So even if you'll convert it, mota mota agar hum isko, if we try to multiply with 80, it is around 2 crore rupees. So if we are withdrawing the foreign exchange for 2,50,000 USD dollar, no approval is needed. Use it freely. RBI said otherwise, though, so many people going on the Make My Trip, booking the packages, they will keep knocking our door and keep asking us. Let us give them a limit that for certain activities, up till 2,50,000 USD dollars, if you are withdrawing and using for these activities that we're going to discuss, 9, 10 activities which we're going to discuss, no approval is needed. No approval is required for the individuals. Is that clear? So what is the liberalized scheme telling you? What is the amount for which up till no approval is required? Answer me in the chat box. Hurry up. Up till 2,50,000 USD dollar, no approval is required. Very good. Okay, Tambeshwari says illustration 2. All right, let me do the illustration 2 first. Otherwise, we will forget about that. Okay, Tambeshwari, I'm just taking you to the illustration number 2. And we'll try to cover this points also from there only. Then. Where is illustration number 2? Can you tell me the page number, child? Illustration 3, 4, 5. Mrs. Z had resided in India during the financial year 1920. I hope you're talking about this, Tambeshwari. Okay, Dilip also want me to do this. He left India on 1st August for US for pursuing higher studies for 3 years. What would be his residential status? So I told you, for 1920, he has been staying in India for more than 182 days. So generally, he becomes PRI for the next year also. And if you're going outside India, only for those 3 purposes, we were becoming PROI. Now, the question that you have raised is why he's becoming PROI. Because he's not going for these 3 purposes, then also you become a PROI. Because RBI has clarified that children, students who go abroad, they have to work over there because they have to take care of their living expenses, their cost of studies. Therefore, although they have been exciting for a period of 182 days, they will be not be a person resident in India. They will be treated as PROI because RBI has clarified that even person who is going for higher studies, they will also fall under the purview of employment purpose only. So when you go for employment, business or vocation on certain period, you become a PROI. All right, simple. I hope Tameshwari it's clear now. Okay, now let's do this schedule 3. We have done all these schedules from here also. You can have a look. We have covered all these kind of points. Let's take up schedule 3 here from here only. Yes, Abhishek Agarwal, we have done this point in the previous class also. It's okay, somebody can have a doubt, so it's fine. Schedule 3, facilities for individuals. Now, schedule 3 is divided into, up now, Saba Shakil is saying illustration 4 also. Now, Saba, you remind me at the end of this illustration 4. This is the same Alia Bhatt. I told you last time, you people said, no, ma'am, we'll do these illustrations. So before we wind up, you remind me because I also have certain test questions for you all. So let me complete this. Saba, please remind me after 8 o'clock. Facilities for individuals. So up till 2,50,000 USD dollar, it says you can avail the foreign exchange for what all activities? For private visits to any country. So you're going to Thailand, Singapore, US, UK, Europe, France, Italy, up till 2,50,000 is freely allowed. It says except Nepal and Bhutan. Nepal and Bhutan are very nearby countries and our own Indian currency is being used over there at times. So you can take your rupees also. For Nepal, Bhutan, you're not going to get any foreign exchange. So MCQ kya aayega? Mr. A is traveling to Nepal. Can he withdraw foreign exchange? Can he take RBI's approval? Except Nepal have the limit of 2,50,000. Nepal and Bhutan are not covered here. Simple. You're going to any other country. Do you need RBI's approval? Yes, ma'am, we need the RBI's approval only if we exceed the limit of 2,50,000. If you need 1,50,000 USD dollars for going to Thailand, do you need approval? If you're taking 3 lakh USD dollars, do you need approval? Good, clear. Your no and yes has made me clear. Gift and donations. You want to donate certain money. And maybe somebody is very, rich and they want to donate their money to outside countries, outside companies. They want to give expensive gifts. Give it freely up to 2,50,000 USD dollars. We're not asking you anything, but you exceed it. You simply take permission from RBI. That is what we're saying. All right. You're going abroad for employment, please go. It is a current account transaction. We're not saying anything to you. You're going for employment purposes. Then also ordinary course of business up till 2,50,000 USD dollars allowed. You're immigrating. You're going permanently. All right. Then also 2,50,000 USD dollars permitted. But beyond that, you have to take RBI's approval. Your close relatives, your parents, your spouse, the children are staying abroad. You want to send money? You can send up till 2,50,000 US dollars. We don't have any problem. Beyond that, RBI's approval. If you have to attend any business conference or any training or specialized meeting expenses, so you are a company, you're working with Reliance and Reliance wants to send you for a conference in USA, up till 2,50,000 USD dollars. So it is such a huge amount, 2 crore rupees. You will not be needing more than that, right? So generally it will be allowed only. So, but still, if you want to take money more for specialized training, you can take RBI's approval. Or you want to meet medical expenses or checkup abroad, or you're accompanying someone as an attendant to a patient. Now, let's assume one of the person in your family is ill and you're taking them abroad. Can you imagine a patient going alone abroad for the treatment? Suppose the patient is not well, he's paralyzed. How will he go? He needs an attendant also, no? So attendant and patient, together your expenditure that you're going to spend up till 2,50,000 USD dollar, please take it. They're not giving you the money. They're just giving you the permission that you can take this money. Beyond that, you will have to send letters to the RBIs. You will have to give documents. You will have to take the proof. So for any conference and specialized training, you are allowed up till 2,50,000. I fail to understand why they have clubbed medical expenses, because they have written in 7th point also, but still here I think they're trying to tell you that there is an attendant also. But 7th point tells you, even if for any medical treatment abroad for your own personal expenditure you want to go, please 2,50,000 is freely allowed. Here it is only trying to tell you, here the attendant and patient together 2,50,000. Here you are going abroad alone, you're fit and fine, you only have a little bit skin problem, you want to take a treatment, 2,50,000 is allowed. You're going for studying abroad, take 2,50,000 USD is allowed. Any other current account transactions? So I told you, these are current account transactions. So any other current account transactions you want to go abroad, please use 2,50,000 USD, go to the authorized dealers, withdraw money up till the limit of 2,50,000 USD dollars is allowed. Beyond that, you need approval from the RBI. Yes, Manvi, I'm coming to that point. Is that clear, everyone? These 9 points. So simply these 9 points are very, very simple. These are basically same definition that you have done for current account transactions, where giving money abroad, relatives, expenditures, training, conference, employment, ऐसे करके points learn हो जाएंगे. Gift, donation, private visits. Except Nepal and Bhutan was the important point, and 2,50,000 is allowed. Now, interesting. So any additional remittance in excess, highlighted with your yellow pen highlighter, that RBI's approval is required. Now, interesting point that for point number 4, 7, and 8. What is 4, 7, and 8? Immigration. Permanently going. Married to Canadian, now going to stay there. 7, medical treatment abroad. 8, studies abroad. Now, these are very, very interesting points. Ma'am, I want to go to Oxford University, and Oxford University told me that we are going to charge you 3 lakh USD dollars. Or a person is going for the medical treatment and the bill has already been known to them that it will be 2,80,000 USD dollars. Or you are, what is the 4th point? Oh. Or there is an immigration and you have already taken the letters from the immigration office that you need 7 lakh USD dollars. Let's assume. So law says in these 4 cases, liberalized remittance scheme notification has provided that if the country of immigration, Canada people, suppose we are assuming Canada, you're going. Canada people has given the letter, this much money is required. Medical Institute has given money, this much money is required. Or Oxford University gave you the letter, this much money is required. Under these cases, RBI said that you will keep bothering me again and again because these are the major cases. Many Indians want to go and settle down in Canada or any other country or in US, UK. You will again come to me for immigration approval. Or you have medical treatments, you are going abroad, you'll again knock my doors. Or you want to study abroad because many Indians go Oxford University or any other universities, they want to study abroad. Then simply do this thing. If you want to remit the money for this, your 2,50,000 will be reduced, but you simply fall under the liberalized remittance scheme. You only have to give these documents. Individual may avail the money in excess of 2,50,000, provided if it is required by country of immigration, means you simply have to submit the documents that this is your immigration certificate, which has written the amount. So 7,50,000 USD dollars required. Please submit the document and go. Medical institution has given you the document, submit and go. University has given you the document, submit and go. These three cases, even if 2,50,000 has exceeded, no approval is required. All right. So point number 6 will not fall under exception. That is the only point, Hardik, because their attendant and training and conferences wala point is specifically covered. It is not falling under the exception. If going to Dubai with 2,50,000 afterwards, I need some more money. So can I ask my parents, Suridhi, if you have taken more than, if you have require more than 2,50,000 USD dollars, RBI approval will be needed, nothing beyond that. Whether your parents are sending or you are taking money. So I don't know what you're going to do with 2 crores. Maybe you're buying a huge property. But yes, if you are taking more than that money, then you will simply need RBI's approval. There is no other point in that. All right. If the individual remits, now this is interesting, 2,50,000 will be reduced. Means 2,50,000 USD dollar is for all these transactions taken together. Rather than learning that point, what you have to learn is all the transactions taken together, you have to consider. So if you have given a gift of 1 lakh USD dollar, how much amount is left? 1,50,000. If you have spent 1 lakh for studying abroad, how much amount more you can spend? 50,000. You won't have spent 50,000 USD dollar in immigration. How much amount is left? No amount. Now, if you want to send anything abroad, please take RBS. All right? Clear? So 2,50,000 will get reduced, means all the current account transactions together, the limit is 2,50,000 for all these transactions. Please write down here. 2,50,000 limit is for all the transactions taken together. This is what this paragraph means. Now, there are very simple points over here. If any person who is a resident but not permanently resident in India, means because 182 days you have stayed, you became resident, but otherwise you're not permanently resident. Means, say for example, you're a person who has flying from UK and you have come to do job in India. You thought that Indians also have very good companies. Let me go and stay in India and do job. Or you have come on deputation. You were working with Microsoft and abroad, but they have sent you in the Microsoft office in India and Hyderabad. Now you're working there. So now you have earned certain salary. Can you take the salary back home? Law says if you are a foreign citizen, you are a resident but not permanently resident, and you have come on a deputation or a work in foreign company or a subsidiary or branch, then please feel free to take your net salary home. We are not asking you for any RBS approval. So for example, your net salary is 5 lakh USD dollar. After paying our taxes, after paying our provident fund and other deductions, you can freely take that net salary back home in UK. We have no objection in that. But the only objection is other than Pakistan. So we might have these kind of not cordial kind of relationships with you at certain time. So we don't know what kind of money that you have taken from our country you're going to use, might be using against us only. So we are not allowing Pakistan people to do that. But other than Pakistan, anyone who is a foreign citizen who has come on work on deputation in India, in the foreign company or the subsidiary or branch, then you can please take your net salary back home after deducting taxes, PF and other deductions. So what is the examiner going to ask you? There is a UK citizen who has come to work in Hyderabad in Microsoft office and he's earning a salary of 4 lakh USD dollar. Does he need approval of RBI while he's taking the money back to UK? Please tell me. You'll write, ma'am, if he's a resident but not permanently resident, he's a foreign state citizen, who has come on deputation to work, then he can remit his net salary after paying the taxes. This is his point. No approval is required. Okay, you not simply write no approval, you'll write all these points. Okay. All right. Clear? This is the same point. Again, individual way in mutatis mutandis means similar ways in the liberalized scheme. All this is repetition. Now let's talk about another limits. Facilities for person other than individuals. Facilities for person other than. So here, those 9 points were for the individuals. Individuals means human beings like you and me. Other than individuals means if you're a company, artificial person, body of individuals, branch office owned. Remember the definition? So if you are not an individual, any other person is remitting money. What is the meaning of remittance? Remittance means you're sending the money. So if you're a company, Reliance Private Limited, and you want to send money abroad, then do you need the prior approval of RBI? It says then there is no liberalized remittance scheme. If you are any other person other than an individual, then you have certain limits. So we will be doing these 4 limits, 4 different topics in which the limits are given. If you exceed this limit, then you need the otherwise you don't fall under the liberalized remittance scheme. So individuals, you fall under this liberalized remittance schemes. You have these 9 activities and it is in totality. The only net salary point was different. But if you're other than individual, then you have a different kind of schemes. You don't fall under the 2,50,000 USD dollar. Clear? Let us do them one by one. What are these points? Number 1, donations exceeding 1%. Now, first of all, what is the point? You are giving donation. You are a company ABC Private Limited. For what purpose you are emitting money? You are sending donations. For what purpose you're giving donations? Now, this is the limit, which I'll explain you, but let us first understand what is the point. You want to send donations to Oxford University for creating a chair in reputed education institutions. Education institution we have taken Oxford University. Today, I only remember one kind of education institution, Oxford University. Okay. You want to create a chair. Creating chair means creating a seat for them. So you are a company, ABC Private Limited. There is Mr. A child who is 22 years old, MBA, working with you, and he's very brilliant in his work. You want him to do certain higher studies from Oxford University, and you want him to go abroad. He should study there for 2 years and come back and work in your own company. So this is a kind of arrangement that you have made with this person. So for this, you're giving certain donations. So you're donating money to Oxford University for booking a seat for him. So you said you want to reserve a seat for Mr. A because he has made a contract with us. He'll be going and studying there. And in return, for 2 years, he'll be coming and working with us. After that, you're free. You do whatever you want to. But we are giving you the permission. We're giving donations for your education institutions, provided you come back and join us. So basically, you're creating a seat. Examiner will not ask you how you created a seat. I'm just explaining you the meaning. He will only tell you if you are donating for creating seats in education institutes, what is the limit? So that limit I'll explain. Or you're contributing to the funds promoted by education institute. Again, you're giving donations for the education institutions funds. Or you're contributing to the technical institutions or individuals in the field of activity of the donor company. So my company only, ABC Limited, I'm the donor company who is giving donations. So I'm contributing to the technical institutions abroad. So if any kind of donations I'm giving for creation of seats abroad or for the education institutions promotion activities or for the technical institutions in relation to my own field of activity, then what is the limit that I have to see? Donations exceeding, first of all, exceeding को भी छोड़ दो 1% of the foreign exchange earnings during 3 financial years. So what was my earning in 99-20? What was my earning in 2021? What was my earning in 21-22? Let's assume 3 type of foreign exchange earnings. 1 lakh, 5 lakhs, 3 lakhs. कितना हो गया? 5, 8, 9. 9 lakhs. What is my foreign exchange earnings during the 3 previous financial year? 9 lakhs. What is 1% of 9 lakhs? Hurry up, tell me. 1% of 9 lakhs? 9,000. So 9,000 USD dollar or 50 lakhs USD dollars. So they have given in millions because we're talking about dollars. We're talking about abroad now. Okay. 9% is 9,000. Why are you writing 90,000? So 550 lakh USD dollar or 9,000 USD dollar. Whichever is less. Whichever is less. So what is less? 9,000 USD dollar. Now, if you make donations exceeding this 9,000 USD dollar, then you need RBI's approval. This is simple thing that he's trying to tell you. So what we have to learn in this topic, what is the purpose for which we are remitting the money? What is the limit that they have given? And if you exceed the limit, you take RBI's approval. That's it. So if I'm donating towards creation of seats in education institutions or for funds of the institutions or for technical institutions, what is the limit, children? Tell me. 1% of the foreign exchange earnings of the 3 financial years. So confusing. 3 financial years also you have to learn foreign exchange earnings also and 1% of that. So examiner will give you 3 financial year earnings like I've given you 5 lakh, 8 lakh, 1 lakh, 9 lakh, 1%, 9,000 USD dollar or 50 lakh USD dollar. This is the limit that you have to learn. Whichever is less is the word over here. So if it is exceeding 9,000, if I'm just giving the donation of 1,000 USD dollar, do I need the approval? According to my example that I did with you, if I'm paying the donation 1,000 USD dollar, only few children are answering. What about the others? Yes, Rati Milani, Hardik, Anjali, very good. No, ma'am, then no. If I'm giving 8,500 USD dollars, approval is required? No, ma'am. If I'm giving 10,000 USD dollars, yes, because limit has been set. If you exceed the limit, then approval is required. Very good, very good. All right. Now, next question. Commission per transaction to agents abroad for selling residential or commercial plots in India. So you have hired an agent abroad. You have certain plots, residential plots and commercial plots in Hyderabad, and you have hired the agents in US that please help us to get the buyer for the plots in Hyderabad, in India. So now you need to pay the commission per transaction when you pay commission to these agents. Then what is the limit? 25,000 USD dollar or 5% of the inward remittance. Inward remittance means whatever you're getting from that exchange of the property. Suppose 1 crore. So convert it into dollars again. So what is the dollars? Let's assume 1 lakh USD dollars. So 1 lakh USD dollars or 25,000 USD dollars, whichever is more. So more is 1 lakh USD dollar, uska 5%. 5% तो करा ही नहीं हमने. 1 lakh USD dollars, 5%. 5% is 5,000 USD dollars. So I'm getting 1 lakh USD dollar for the sale of the flat. 5% of 1 lakh, 5,000 USD dollars or 25,000 USD dollars, whichever is more. So I can pay the commission up till 25,000, whichever is more is allowed. Commission per transaction, 25,000 USD dollar is allowed. If I need to pay the commission 30,000 USD dollar, do I need the approval? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. If I'm paying the commission 19,000 US dollar, do I need the approval? No, ma'am. Good, 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 good. Very nice. Now, remittance exceeding 10 million USD dollar per project for any consultancy services. Now, you are taking any consultancy services for your infrastructure projects. You thought there are many good people in real estate in Dubai. So we called them that we need certain consultancy services for the infrastructure projects in India. So you can remit up till 10 millions per project. There is no problem. You're taking consultancy services from outside India for any other project, not for infrastructure, any other project, 1 million per project is allowed. So here, 10 million per project, you can take for the infrastructure project. There is no permission required. Exceeding this amount per project, approval is required. For any other project, 1 million per project for any other consultancy. So what is the limit for infrastructure projects? How much I can remit without approval? Tell me. For infrastructure objects, if I'm taking the consultancy, how much I can? 10 million. Very good. For any other project other than infrastructure, how much can I remit? 1 million. Very nice. Very nice. Good, good. Dilip, Hardik, Nanda, Goel. Very. All right. Okay. Now, the last point of this topic is if you are remitting the money, 5% of the investment brought into India or 1 lakh USD dollar, whichever is higher, by an entity in India by way of reimbursement of pre-incorporation expenses. So what is the limit for pre-incorporation expenses? You are setting up a company in India. For that, you have to pay certain pre-incorporation expenses. For that purpose, if you are remitting any money, 5% of the investment or 1 lakh USD dollar, whichever is higher. So two places it has given whichever is higher, 25,000 USD dollar or 5%, whichever is higher, 1 lakh USD dollar and 5% of the investment brought, whichever is higher. Only place whichever is less is in case of donations, and 10 million and 1 million is for the consultancy. That is how you have to learn this. All right. Again, the procedure for remittance of foreign exchange is the same. I hope this is clear now. For individuals, these 9 things you have to learn. In the break, I will ask you to go through. For other than individual, these 4 topics you have to learn. Go through them twice, thrice, and ask me the doubts if any. But you will have to learn the limits. There is no hard and fast rule in that. Now, let's talk about RFC account and EEFC account. RFC and EEFC are like a saving account and current account in India that we have. So current account, the account that you use for business, saving account, whatever income that you get from salaries or income from other sources that you're getting from your saving account, where you earn interest and you save your money. Current account is your daily running account for the business. So similarly, if you're remitting the money from RFC account, then any remittance can be made for Schedule 2 and 3. No approval is required. It is a resident foreign currency account. RFC account, these are like your saving and current account. So RFC account se agar koi payment karni hai, it says please do anything. If the transaction is not listed, okay. If the transaction is not listed, it can be taken freely. There is no problem. Ma'am, individual exceptions, no approval is required and reduce the limit. Yes, Hardik, no approval is required if you're doing those 9 transactions within the limit of 2,50,000. And this line clearly tells you that if anything is not listed, then it is freely taken. Here only we're talking about the restrictions. Okay. Any payment that you're making from the resident foreign currency account, please write down no approval is required. For Schedule 2 and Schedule 3, if you're doing from RFC account, no approval is needed. If you're doing anything from EEFC account, EEFC is foreign exchange earners foreign currency account. This is like a current account. No approval is needed. Only for 3 things. Now, exception may be exception. First exception is, ma'am, if we are doing from RFC account, no approval is needed. Ma'am, if we are doing from EEFC account, no approval is needed. But the only exception is these 3 things, you still need the approval. Remittance of membership of P&I club. Where was it written? P&I club, kaun se schedule mein tha? You have just shared it with me right now. Very good. Excellent. Schedule 2. Where was this written? Commission for the sale of agents, 25,000 or 5%. Where have you done this point? For other than individuals, Schedule 3, other than individuals. Very good. Where have you done this point? 1 lakh remittance of 5% investment brought, whichever is higher. Both the cases, whichever is higher, are being covered over here. Pre-incorporation expenses. Schedule 3, other than individuals. So in these 3 cases, you will not get the exemption. You need the approval. You will not get the exemption. And here, very nice, somebody has written, ma'am, Ministry of Finance, they're remembering insurance revision. You have started learning, you have started remembering. So RFC account, no approval. EEFC account, these 3 cases you need approval. Other than this, you don't need it. All right. So it says, now, very interesting. International credit card while you're visiting abroad, no approval is required. He can incur the expenditures from Schedule 3 within the limit of 2,50,000. Again, international credit card is also exempted when you're going on a visit to abroad. No approval is required. All right. Now let's discuss. Now this is a very simple lines. Please, you can read it yourself. Clubbing is not permitted for capital account. Clubbing means mother has spent 1,50,000. Father has spent 1,50,000. That means you have exceeded already 3 lakh. So mother has spent 1,50,000. Father has spent 1 lakh. So spouse, both of them, 2,50,000 is exceeded. That is very, very simple. You can read. Let's start with capital account transactions. What is the meaning of capital account transactions? Any transaction by which the asset or liability is altered in India of a PROI. Mr. John is buying any house in India or he is taking any liability means capital asset is created. Or Mr. A is buying any house in Dubai or he's incurring any liability or he's incurring any contingent liability. What is the meaning of contingent liability? All my dear account student are going to tell you. Yes, Hardik, no approval is required. Only for three exceptions for EEFC, approval is needed. RFC, no approval is needed. Good. May or may not happen. It become liability. Can you give me the example? Very good, Tambeshwari and Nanda Goyal. Priti, very good. Kind of a guarantee that you give. That is a contingent liability. Say, for example, I have taken a loan and you have given the guarantee on my behalf. Tomorrow, if I don't pay the loan, your liability will occur. Future events, uncertain events, capital commitment, very good. So these kind of contingent liabilities are covered under capital account transaction of a PRI. If I am PRI, Mr. A is buying a house or creating liability or contingent liability, then a capital account transaction. Mr. John is only buying an asset or liability is created. Here, no contingent liability. In case of a PROI, we do not consider any contingent liability. In case of a PRI, we consider contingent liability. Now, how this asset and liability is created, let us try to understand. Let me open my presentation so that it becomes a little simple for you. Schedule 3 transactions which require RBI approvals. This we have already done. EEFC again, you can refer to these notes. This is your capital account transactions. So now section 6, subsection 1 that talks about capital account transactions. Any person can draw and sell foreign exchange from the authorized person for any capital account transaction. It says like we have discussed 3 schedules for current account transactions. Now we can buy and draw and sell foreign exchange from any authorized person for any capital account transactions. Reserve Bank of India has the power to specify and permit and give them the terms and conditions for what kind of restrictions that you want to put. It says for any debt instruments, RBI is going to put the restriction. Let me show you from the study also, because then you will come up with the doubts in the study material also. Let me show you where it is written. Then later you can refer to this. Okay. This is very simple. This is just telling you that you're permitted to use the foreign exchange. Capital account transactions are freely permitted unless you follow the rules and unless there is any restriction. So with effect from 15th October, earlier they were saying that there is certain things where only RBI will allow. I think they have now modified your latest study material. Earlier, they were saying that RBI will only put restrictions on certain things and central government. But now from 15th October 2019 says RBI will consult central government and they will decide what all debt instruments are permissible and whatever transactions can be taken place in case of capital account. So earlier, only RBI was taking. Now RBI has to take the call of central government also. Without central government's power, they cannot allow you to do any kind of debt or non-debt instruments in India. RBI or CG shall not impose restrictions in case of amortization of loans and depreciation of direct investments. Very, 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 very important topic. So it says RBI will consult central government and they will put certain transactions where can put restrictions on your capital account transactions. But there are 2 specific transactions which are named as amortization of loans and depreciation of investments where no approval of RBI, please write it down like this, or CG is needed. These capital account transactions are freely permissible. What does it mean? What does it mean? Amortization of loans means repayment of loan. You are a private company, ABC Private Limited, took loan from foreign bank. You have taken a loan from foreign bank for 1 crore rupees. Now you need to repay. Liability was created, taken a loan, capital account transaction, liability. Now you need to repay this loan. Will you go and ask the approval of RBI? RBI will say you have already taken the loan, $1 crore, not rupees. So please now, whatever amount, feel free to take any amount. 1 lakh USD. Okay. Now you want to repay this loan. You can repay, you can do the amortization of loans, repayment of loan, no approval of RBI and CG is needed. Freely you will get the permissible transactions, you will get the USD dollar to repay this loan. Now we will ask them, what is the meaning of depreciation of investments? You have invested money in foreign company. You have made a company and you have invested 100K USDs over there. And you had a loss of 15K USD last year. So now your investment has fallen down. How much is your investment now left? It has depreciated. Investment has depreciated, like the assets get depreciated to 85K USD. Let's assume. So now you want to increase your investment back to 100K USD. So for those depreciation of investments, if you are filling up the investments again back in foreign company, then also it is freely permissible. And for any repayment of loan also it is freely permissible. Simply that you have to. Amortization means repayment of loans. Okay. So any kind of repayments of loans and your investments have got depreciated and you need to fill it back your investments. For that, it is freely permissible. No approval of RBI and central government is required. This is what is trying to tell you. And it is in the ordinary course of business. So you were doing business, you suffered a loss, your investment got depreciated, it went down. Now you can again send money abroad and you can refill your investments. Is that clear? I think we have covered lots and lots of depreciation. Karan Kumar is saying depreciation means kam ho jana. That means your investment value has reduced. Generally, the asset gets depreciated. The only point over here to confuse is investment is getting depreciated. So how do we assume investment is getting depreciated? Means the value has gone down, means you suffered a loss. So if you're having certain foreign direct investments abroad, for that, you are freely allowed to send money. Permission is not required of RBI and CG. This is what is trying to tell you. Examiner in MCQ will simply ask you, money sending for amortization of loan, no approval. Money sending for depreciation of investments, no approval. All right. So we have largely covered so many things. I think you need a break of 5-6 minutes over here. Let's take a small break, go through all the points that we have done. After that, we'll be completing the chapter and I will be doing certain question answers also with you. Please, let's take a small break here. All right, welcome back, students. What I'm thinking is I'm going to do certain questions with you before we proceed towards the last topic. I think we did certain questions in the previous class. Yes or no? Please tell me. This is very, very simple. I think we discussed this one, right? Having a branch office in India or outside India. This is again related to your study material question. See, these kind of straightforward question I told you in January, it has come, explain the meaning of current account transactions and the right of a citizen to obtain foreign exchange and FEMA. So you simply have to explain all these transactions. Please confirm me, students. Did we do certain questions? Okay, Tameshwari, I will take up that point. 25,000 for individuals. Okay. You're right. We have done these, right? Okay. Here question number 4 in front of you on the screen. This is what you all have to read very carefully and solve this question. And I want the answers on the chat box. Because how can we go without practicing question answers? We are still left with certain capital account transactions portion. I will take it that as well. But let's do certain questions first. Yes, everyone has done this question very nicely. All of you have given the correct answers. So let us just go through the answers one. RBI can impose the restrictions that you have done over here in this point, but it is specifically asking you about the remittance of hiring charges, whose approval is required. I hope I'm audible, students. And for the payment of commission on exports, this is related to your Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 points. This is how you have to write the answers. As per Rule 3, read with Schedule 1, the payment of commission made to the wholly owned subsidiary is strictly prohibited. So this will come under the prohibition. But for the second part, you can take the approval of the concerned Department of Central Government. All right? All right. So here is the next question. Many of you have written the answers. Now I can see the answers. Very good. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, you remember? That's great. Very good. Very good. Tambeshwari, Manvi, Ankit, Mishra, all of you. Here's the second question in front of you on the screen. Everyone try to solve it. All right. So did you see how simple this question was? And I have read each one of your answers. Abhishek Mishra, Manvi, Hardik, Kasak Yadav, Dilip, Ankit Mishra, Tambeshwari, all of you have given the wonderful answers and you have started writing the way it is expected from all of you. So this is how you have to represent your answers. Rule 3, read with Schedule 1, prohibits the fall of foreign exchange. First, you will give the certain transactions, and since these one of the transactions fall under that respective category, so it will be strictly prohibited and not allowed. All right. So I think you have very well practiced your questions. Now let's complete the presentation so that our topic gets completed on time. So we were just discussing So we are now going to complete this topic where the central government and RBI can deal with the permissible current account, capital account transactions. So we have already discussed that you can hold, own, transfer, or invest in foreign currency or in security. Now, these 2-3 pages of study material, now they all talk about very repetitive things. Section 6, subsection 1, section 6, subsection 4 and 5. They're again and again telling you the same thing, that you can hold the property outside India. Now, what is the meaning of this thing? That you can either hold, own, or possess or transfer the property if the property is situated outside India, or you can inherit it from someone. Say, for example, Mr. A purchased a house in Dubai in 2021. So that means he is investing his property outside India. That means he has done a capital account transaction. Now, Mr. A died and Mr. A's son is now having the property. So he has inherited from a PROI, that is person resident outside India. Then also it is a capital account transaction. Similarly, a person who is outside India, he can also hold the property inside India, or the person can inherit it from their parents. Yes, Nanda Goel, all your answers, Mahi, everybody, your answers were correct. Okay, don't worry if your names have not been taken. Okay, so clear everyone about this point. So these are the permissible capital account transactions. So in this, we have 3 schedules: the transactions which are freely permissible, transactions on which restrictions cannot be imposed, and the transactions which are completely prohibited. What are those transactions? Yes, PRO can also buy a property in India, child. It is a capital account transaction for them, Hardik, over here. So these are the permissible capital account transactions, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2, which tells you that if you're investing in foreign securities, say for example, you're buying the shares of Netflix or any other Walmart abroad, or you are raising loans abroad in outside India, or if you're giving a guarantee for a person, say for example, Reliance is taking loan from foreign bank and they need certain guarantee to be given. Foreign bank will say that we don't want to give you loan, but they took a guarantee from someone that Reliance is a good company, they will pay back your loan. So a contingent liability has been created for that PRI abroad. So similar cases, if you're taking out any insurance policy, any loans and overdraft, any borrowings, any derivative contracts, yes ma'am, we can take derivative contracts also abroad. Just a second, children. Give me 1 minute. All right. Actually, something. I am so sorry. All right. So again, Schedule 1 tells you any permissible transactions by a person resident in India if you're doing these kind of investments. Schedule 2 tells you any person resident outside India if you're doing these kind of transactions. In India, that is a capital account transactions and it is freely permissible. All right. Then we have prohibited transactions. Now, what is prohibited? What is not allowed at all? That is also very, very simple. No person can buy and sell foreign exchange for such capital account transactions. What are those? For making investments in any partnership kind of concerns, or any person resident outside India is prohibited for making any investment in any kind of concerns, like in a Nidhi company, in an agriculture company, or TDRs. What is TDRs? Transferable development rights. For example, you want to set up big, big buildings, you need development rights. But these are the exceptions where it is completely prohibited. They cannot invest in these kind of transactions. Okay, so no person resident shall undertake any capital account transaction which is not permissible. With the Democratic People Republic of Korea, so with the people of North Korea also, approval of central government is required if you want to take certain kind of transactions. Otherwise, it is strictly prohibited. You are not allowed to take transactions with these kind of people from which restrictions have been imposed. A resident may draw foreign exchange not exceeding 2,50,000 for such amount as may be prescribed in Schedule 1. So it says 2,50,000 USD dollars, same Schedule 1, Schedule 2 limits. LRR scheme will be applicable of 2,50,000, which is allowed. Where the drawal by foreign exchange by the resident for any capital account transaction exceeds this, it has to be taken a decision from the Reserve Bank of India, then only the permission will be given. So same limit, the first point tells you prohibition transaction, that 2,50,000 limit has to be followed. If you're exceeding the limit, RBI's approval is required. Second, it tells you what are the prohibitions. You cannot invest into Nidhi companies, agriculture and plantation, because Indians are into this business only. This is a core business. We cannot allow the outsiders to do agriculture over here. We will not allow them for the real estate buildings. We will not allow them the chit funds on the Nidhi companies, and also with the North Korea people, Democratic Republic of Korea, transactions are strictly prohibited. But it says any investments if you're making with the resident of Democratic, again, same point, it is repeating, Democratic Republic of Korea, or any entity which is formed in Korea, or any representative from 21st April 2017, it will be liquidated within 180 days from the notice from which it has been served. But the only exception in case of chit funds and Nidhi companies, it allows you is that you can be a subscriber or a member to these companies, but you cannot invest in the partnership kind of business related to these kind of companies. Okay, children, like we have restrictive schedules for this thing, for your current account transactions, but capital account transactions are little simpler. You don't have to go into much complications. You simply can learn the points that are given over here in detail, permissible transactions and prohibited transactions. Yes, don't worry. I'm opening the study also. I'm not going anywhere. Those who are writing down. Yes, Tambeshwari wants to ask something. Yes, Tambeshwari, please speak.
Ma'am, in this case, no, I am asking for other than individual Schedule 3.3, ma'am, infrastructure project.
Okay,
मैम
it's simply.
उसके अंदर मैम मेरे को ये पर प्रोजेक्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और अदर देन आउटसाइड प्रोजेक्ट वो समझ नहीं आया मैम.
Okay, you want me to explain you in Hindi? हिंदी में समझाऊं आपको?
यस मैम, फाइन.
अगर आप 10 मिलियन USD डॉलर दे रहे हो फॉर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स, तो आपको अप्रूवल नहीं चाहिए. अगर आप किसी और चीज के लिए कंसल्टेंसी ले रहे हो, फॉर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए कंसल्टेंसी ले रहे हो, आपने यूएस से बंदे को फोन करा कि आई नीड कंसल्टेंसी फॉर माय इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट इन इंडिया. इफ यू आर पेइंग 10 million USD dollar for that project, it is allowed. Beyond that, 10 million, 10 rupees, you need RBS. You have taken consultancy from somebody in US for any other services, not for infrastructure. Infrastructure means your land, building, properties, build houses, infrastructure related you're taking. You're not taking for infrastructure for any other consultancy, for any other kind of profession you're taking. For that, 1 million consultancy services allowed. You can take. Procured from outside India means आपने बाहर से ली है. या तो आपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए कंसल्टेंसी सर्विस ली है, या फिर आपने किसी और सर्विस, किसी और प्रोजेक्ट के लिए कंसल्टेंसी सर्विस ली है.
मैम यहाँ पे एक जीरो ज्यादा है आई थिंक.
सॉरी,
यहाँ पर एक जीरो ज्यादा है मैम आई थिंक.
1 million is 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, and over here it is 100 lakhs that they have given. Okay, एक जीरो ज्यादा है क्योंकि वो 10 मिलियन है, यहाँ 1 मिलियन, लिमिट्स अलग लगे। ओके,
Okay.
all right, all right. Anyone has any other doubt they want to ask, please speak. Okay, Tameshwari, any other doubt? All right.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's move ahead. So these are the points that I have just spoken up with you, children. These are permissible transaction. You can invest in foreign securities, guarantees, import, export. It is just a replicate. वो पर्सन रेजिडेंट इन इंडिया का है, ये पर्सन रेजिडेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया भी हमारी कंट्री में इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है, गारंटी दे सकता है, डेरिवेटिव कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सेम लिखा हुआ। अमोर्टाइजेशन एंड लोन एंड डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स पे कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं है, फ्रीली परमिसिबल। Prohibited transactions क्या है? 2,50,000 per financial year you can do. You have to take RBI's approval if you're going beyond that. And you cannot invest in the business of chit funds. You cannot invest in Nidhi companies, agriculture, real estate, plantation, and transferable rights. And no person shall undertake the activities with the North Korea person. If you have undertaken, within 180 days, you have to dispose of the activities. Is that clear, everyone? Condition stipulated by RBI, Abhishek Mishra, it means the condition imposed by RBI, the conditions taken up by RBI. Nanda Goyal, LRS scheme basically means that liberalized remittance scheme has given you the limit of $250,000 that you can utilize for the specific Schedule 2 activities given, Schedule 3 activities given. Beyond that, you need approval of RBI. Okay, I'm glad, Ankit Mishra, it's crystal clear. That's wonderful. Can I ask from? No, Manvi, not from general clauses. We are doing FEMA. Okay. Okay, Rathi Milani says that everything is clear. Which illustration, the Meshwari? Please tell me. I will take up. Illustration for Alia. Okay. So Mahi, in that, all those who were asking illustration 4, in that case where Alia is flying in international company, he's working over there, she's doing the job over there. In that very case, why she stayed in India, that was not for employment. That was due to her employment. She had to put a halt over here. She's working as an air hostess. The plane was staying, she was not given the job to fly again for the certain period she was staying. For that period, even she is exceeding 182 days, she will not be considered PRI because due to her employment, not because of employment she is staying, because of her employment, she was given a stay over there. That's why she is considered as PROI over there. Okay. The amendments, child, you have to see, Hardik, till what date your amendments are applicable. Okay, so that is the very latest amendments. It will not be applicable in your study material where it is given. It is clearly written the amendments till 6 months beyond your exams are applicable. So if it falls under that preview, then yes, you can get this thing checked with the admin also once. All right. I hope the Meshwari and Mahi, now this fourth point is clear to all of you. Illustration number 4 is clear. Any other doubts, children, apart from this? And Hardik, even if such certain kind of questions comes, then you have read this amendment, you can write its applicability. Otherwise, it's daily ROC only, as far as we have read in our syllabus. Schedule 3 for others individual, first point. So Tameshwari is asking Schedule 3 first point for other individuals. That is when you're giving donations for any education institutions abroad. For that, they have given the limit. The limit is 1% of the earnings of 3 financial years, or 1 lakh you are 25,000 USD dollars, 25,000 USD dollars that they have given. So if you exceed, whichever is more. So in our example, it was 9,000 and 25,000. So 25,000 is more. So beyond 25,000, अगर आप pay कर रहे हो, donation दे रहे हो, तब आपको approval चाहिए. Otherwise, you don't need the approval. Okay. Yes, 5 lakhs USD dollar, whichever is less. Very good, Nanda Goel. Excellent. So Mahi is saying the 3 purpose is staying more than 182. Yes, 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 Mahi. Then you're still PROI. Absolutely correct. For 3 purposes, you're coming to India, you are PRI. Other than 3 purposes, you see his previous year status, bacha. If previous year he was more than 182 days, then he is already a PRI, na? Then there is no problem. But he is coming to India for the first time. Other than these 3 purposes, means he was earlier also PRI, he remains PRI now also. All right, children. So any other doubts if you have, well in time, we have completed our syllabus also. If you want, we can do one more small question with you. Thank you so much, Hardik. I'm glad you all have enjoyed the session. And thank you, Mahi. Thank you so much, children. And my humble request to all of you, keep revising, keep doing whatever we have studied, do it well. All the best for your exams. My best wishes with all of you. No Apurv, they will not be applicable. Thank you so much, Pranav. I'm glad you're finding the chapter easy now. So that's really great. Rati Milani, that you have to get it checked. That you'll have to get it checked with admin. All right. So I hope no one is having any more doubts. Everything is clear to all of you. Thank you, Ankit Mishra. I'm so glad to know that. Thank you, Bhumika. All right. Thank you, Tambeshwari. Yes, Tambeshwari, this is the last class. Thank you, Dilip. Thank you so much, children. All right. So I cannot find any more doubts now. So thank you, children. And yes, Apurv, you can definitely do that. Yes, Ankit Mishra, you can ask if you quick question if you want to have. Yes, yes, Pranav, you will get this presentation, not a doubt in that. Thank you, Abhishek Mishra. All right, thank you so much, children. All right, sir, we are done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.